Then we'll ensue with our questions from the panel here. So we'll start with you, Ms. Cornwall. You are recognized.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for the invitation to participate in today's hearing. I am Crystal Cornwall, the proud spouse of a Marine of 11 years, a passionate military family advocate, and founder of the nonprofit Safe Military Housing Initiative. I'm currently a finance professional, a former police officer, and have a bachelor's in public administration and am working towards a master's degree. In many ways, I am like every other military spouse. We are at our 4th duty station and are anticipating a GEO batch tour in the fall. For the next 3 years, my husband will serve away from our family. Our 3 children have only known their father preparing for or deploying to war, a war that has endured 18 long years. I am here today on behalf of military families of every branch and rank. We ask that you act on our testimony and ensure military families receive safe, habitable, and functional housing and a better, more accountable way to resolve problems that arise. I first became aware of the crisis-level military housing issues at Keesler Air Force Base, where termites fell out of light fixtures into our beds. Later at Camp Pendleton, we lived with pervasive mold issues and unjustifiable move-out charges. At Keesler, the housing office staff told me, termites in your home are to be expected because of the region. At Camp Pendleton, we were inexplicably charged almost $700 for carpet replacement. The housing rep used a black light and moisture stick to find stains unseen by the naked eye. When I disputed the validity of these charges, I found no path to resolution with the housing company, Camp Pendleton, or my husband's former command. In the end, various agencies and local attorneys advised us that military families living on the bases are essentially powerless in these disputes. During my 2 years of research and advocacy, I received hundreds of reports from military families of mold growth, rodent and pest infestations, moisture intrusion, lead and asbestos exposures, radon concerns, base contamination, and cancer clusters in their housing. All of this was too often compounded by defensive, sometimes abusive housing staff. With other military families, I have witnessed the peeling paint inside and outside of the homes at Fort Belvoir. I have felt the helplessness of a fellow Marine Corps spouse as she held her new baby and sobbed while we stood under a collapsing, moldy ceiling in her home at Camp Lejeune. I listened in horror as families at Camp Pendleton told of mice eating through pacifiers in their babies' cribs and electrical outlets catching fire due to wiring issues. I've crawled into an attic at Keesler Air Force Base and measured the moisture intrusion from a roof leak. And I have been to the town halls where families were dismissed, and they also feared retaliation for reporting their concerns. Today, you will hear from the corporate housing company executives testifying that they were unaware of these problems and that their own surveys show they are fulfilling the terms of their government contracts. They, and some of those in command, will also say military families are not reporting housing issues through official channels. That's just not accurate in my experience and in those of other military families. In fact, that's what military families do. We follow the rules. Until recent media reports in today's hearing, our efforts to fight for safe housing were too often met with intimidation, personal attacks, and strategic attempts to discredit us and silence our voices. We are appalled by this response. But looking ahead, we offer 3 recommendations to address the military housing crisis. Amend or cancel the 50-year privatized contracts to allow for competition, proper oversight, and accountability. Provide a clear and accessible path to administrative or legal recourse when necessary. As with civilian counterparts, military families should be able to withhold their basic housing allowances until their homes are safe and habitable. Military families understand that quality housing does not mean entitlement to elegant mansions. We simply ask for homes free of mold, pest, lead, and other hazards. We expect homes free from the stressors of deployments, workups, training, and the day-to-day military service. As parents, we want safe places for our children to sleep at night. Thank you for your time today and commitment to resolving military housing crisis. We look forward to working with you to create solutions. As military families, we do our part. We ask that those who are paid to support us do theirs.
Well, thank you very much for the excellent statement, Ms. Cornwall.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Warner.